Well, happy Tuesday to you. Kris Hair here, the world champion crypto cowboy. Headed to work, got a little bit of a drive to get to the horses I'm working on today, so I thought I'd go ahead and throw up a video. Talk about what's going on. We've had a lot of stuff happen. Really not a lot of stuff happen, but things are happening today. Stocks kind of took a dip this morning on open, but it seems like they're wanting to rebound just a little bit. Bitcoin was at a pretty good low. Kind of rebounded. I think it was just a retest. I really don't think we're going to see that much upside right here, but you can't rule it out. I'm still short. Took an Ethereum short yesterday. I've been sitting in a Bitcoin short for a couple of days. It's doing pretty well. We did that off of Sunday's TA video if you want to go back and look at that and see what my thinking was. But there's a lot going on. Software stocks are really taking a hit right now. I think that's AI fears of playing into that. Bitcoin just looks dismal. We're in a bear market, guys, and I think you just have to assume that the price action is down right now. We might get a little relief bounce, but I just don't see it, not at this point. I really feel like you're not going to see anything until we get down in those 50s. And then maybe the bottom out point is somewhere, $50,000 to $45,000. That's kind of what we've talked about for at least the past 6 or 8 weeks. Been in this market a long time, guys, and when you get into these bear markets, there's just a structure you follow, and you find an entry and sit in it and hold on it, and they usually work out pretty well. But I think you have to assume markets are down right now. Well, what's going on today? We've got more news coming out over the week. I think there's some inflation data coming out at the end of the week. The president, State of the Union tonight, so that'll be interesting to see what's said there. Probably plan on some volatility, especially around that. Liquidation levels on the macro, man, there's just not a lot of liquidity below us, but when you get on the shorter time frames, there's still liquidity there. So maybe it's a choppy ride down. Maybe we kind of just chop around like we do. It seems like we find these places and we put in some bear flags and then we just drop again. Maybe that's what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see what Trump says tonight. I know there's a bunch of Democrats that are boycotting the State of the Union. It is what it is. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but if you're a patriot, you're a patriot, and you want what's best for the country, and you support the president that you have. He may not be the guy you voted for, but you hope he does a good job. He's in charge of everything. That's as far as I go on politics. That's just the way I see it. But what am I doing? Well, I'm sitting in these shorts right now. I'm really not looking at altcoins right now. There's just not a lot to look at. I'll follow Ethereum just because it kind of follows Bitcoin, and it's the biggest of the altcoins, so the returns are a little better, but I've just left the others alone. Honestly, I haven't even looked at them right now. I'm watching Bitcoin dominance. I'm watching the DXY. There's nothing there yet that says, hey, maybe we need to pay attention. And the question starts becoming, do you start thinking about dollar cost averaging here? I've kicked this around. I talked to a buddy of mine yesterday, and he kind of feels like he's got a set amount that he wants to put in Bitcoin, and it's going to be a longer term hold for him. So I think if you're thinking 5 years, 10 years down the road, and you want to put in, let's just say it's $10,000. You want to put in $10,000 right now. What you might do is divide that up and do it in percentages. Maybe here you put in 10% of that. We get a little lower, you put in a little more than 10%. We get a little lower, you put in a little more than the last time. And that's kind of the way I dollar cost average. I really, personally, I'm not ready yet because I still feel like 50,000 is a strong target, so I'm kind of holding out. But if you're unsure and hey, I'm going to hold on to this stuff for 10 years, it's probably not a bad place to start your dollar cost average. I mean, we're sitting at around in the low 60s, and if we're going to the low 50s, and even if we drop into 20 or 30,000, you're really not that far off. It's not like you're buying Bitcoin at 100 or 120,000, and now we've pulled back $40,000 or $50,000, $60,000. You're talking about a $30,000 pullback, which is doable. If you're just going to buy as it's going down and you stay committed to that and you actually believe it's going up, then I think there's a good opportunity there. And I think that's probably a proper way to do it. I noticed Amazon stock was down. That's a good way, it's a good time to buy. And this DCA stuff, guys, I don't really do it on leverage. The October 10th flash crash was a prime example of that. So many people were leveraged in low leverage trades and just adding as they go back. Well, what you can see is it can happen fast. You can't get on the exchange to get the trade closed, what have you, whatever, and then you've just completely liquidated. So it's just not a strategy that works for me. I know Connor Kenny does extremely well with it and has made some amazing trades, you know, and he talks about it a lot, and I kind of understand what he's saying. It just doesn't work for me, and what doesn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for somebody else. It just has to fit your style of trading. My trading is a little more disciplined. I like to use stop losses. I like to have a place that I say when it goes to here, I'm done, I'm out. I'll take my losses and I'll move on to the next trade. But what you got to keep in mind too is I only use about 1% of my bag, so that gives me 100 chances to get it wrong before I'm completely wiped out. And it's not really a completely wiped out because I'm using stop losses so my trades are safe, and as soon as I get them into profit, I take my fees off of it through profit, and then I set my stop losses to break even, and it's a free trade. If it goes back, it goes back and stops, and I reassess and reformat from there. And if it keeps going the way it's supposed to, then it's happy days. But I do also have a pretty good idea where that trade was going. I had a friend of mine tell me one time, if you're going to open a trade, you damn sure better know where it's going. And I've kind of stuck to that strategy, and it's worked well for me. But that's just kind of where I am with everything today. I think it's going to be a down day if we don't just chop around here. But we'll take it day to day. If anything crazy happens, I'll drop in, do another one of these updates. We'll circle back around to a Bitcoin update tonight, try to figure it all out again. But don't forget to like and subscribe, tap that bell notification, leave us a comment. Helps the YouTube algorithm, and I really enjoy hearing from you guys. But let me know what you think of the markets right now. What are you doing? Are you dollar cost averaging? Are you just sitting and waiting? Are you scared to death and thinking everything's going to zero? Let me know. Might be a conversation, and we throw another video up later this afternoon. But I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to get into traffic here pretty quick. Kris Hair, the world champion crypto cowboy. I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you down the road.